You are the wizard. Introduction. You didn't find this message by accident. It found you, not because of an algorithm, not because someone shared a link, but because your soul whispered, long before this moment. There's something more. This is not just another video. This is not content for background noise. This is a moment that chose you before you had the words to ask for it. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet knowing, that soft, persistent echo, that reality is deeper, stranger, and more fluid than they told you. Those thoughts alone weren't enough. Those affirmations felt hollow. That no matter how many methods you tried, something was still missing. As if your power lived just beyond the reach of logic. This message wasn't made to teach you. It was created to wake you up, to remind you that your vibration speaks louder than your voice, that your energy leads long before your words arrive, that the universe isn't waiting to bless you. It's responding to the signal you're already sending. This is where it begins, not with more effort, but with a return to the frequency you once knew, the one you held as a child, before doubt was introduced, before fear rewrote your name, before the noise drowned out the signal. This message doesn't ask you to believe blindly. It invites you to remember. Remember that you're not here to chase anything. You're not here to earn your worth. You are not here to beg reality to change. You are here to become the change, to tune your field, to stand at your center and transmit something so clear that the world can't help but bend around it. You won't be told what to do. You'll feel what's true, every word, a vibration, every sentence, a mirror. This isn't a formula. This is a frequency. And once it activates in you, you won't be able to go back to sleep. Because power once remembered cannot be forgotten. You will begin to sense your field shifting. You'll notice how certain people drift away, how new synchronicities rise to meet you, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. This is not the moment where you start trying. This is the moment you start transmitting, not what you want. But what are you? You've been waiting, but the wait is over, because the truth has arrived in the form of your own remembering. Now breathe, tune in. You're not just here to watch. You're here to wake up. And when you do, everything changes. Chapter 1. You don't attract. You project. You've been told to attract, to focus, to affirm, to think positively, to visualize what you want and wait for the universe to deliver it, to match the frequency of your desires. But what if I told you that's not how it works? What if you're not a magnet, but a mirror? You don't attract, you project. This changes everything, because if you're a magnet, you're passive, you're waiting, you're hoping, you're pulling. But if you're a projector, you're the origin, you're the sender, you're the source of the signal. The world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are, to the frequency you hold, consistently, silently, deeply. Every moment you're projecting, not just when you meditate, not just when you pray, but when you doubt, when you scroll, when you complain, when you breathe. Your field, your energetic body, is a constant broadcaster. It doesn't stop, it doesn't pause, it doesn't care if you're aware or not. It simply emits, and what you emit becomes your environment, not out of magic, but out of coherence. If your inner world is chaotic, your outer world mirrors that chaos. If your inner field is clear, stable, aligned, the world starts bending to that clarity. You see, the universe is not a giver. It's a reflector, a sacred echo chamber of vibration. And this echo isn't metaphorical. It's literal. If you hold fear, you see threats. If you hold shame, you attract judgment. If you carry abandonment, you live in cycles of rejection. Not because life is cruel, but because your field says, "This is who I am." And the field answers, "As you wish." You may think you're saying, "I want abundance." But if your vibration says, "I lack, I fear, I doubt," that's what will shape your world, because the field doesn't respond to words. It responds to identity, to resonate. This is why affirmations often fail, because you're saying what you don't yet believe, And the universe doesn't respond to repetition. It responds to embodiment. Imagine a speaker blasting a clear signal, that's your soul. But if the speaker is wrapped in layers of noise, static, fear and confusion, what reaches the world is not the pure tone, it's a distortion. And reality reflects that distortion back at you. Not as punishment, not as a failure, as feedback. Everything you see is feedback, every closed door, every opportunity, every conflict. It's not happening to you, it's being projected from you. So the work isn't to try harder. It's not to wish louder. It's to refine your signal, to clean the static, to align your identity, to emit coherence from the inside out. Because once you do that, the field can't help but respond. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because energy obeys clarity. This is why affirmations often fail. Because you're saying what you don't yet believe. And the universe doesn't respond to repetition. It responds to embodiment. Imagine a speaker blasting a clear signal. That's your soul. But if the speaker is wrapped in layers of noise, static, fear and confusion, what reaches the world is not the pure tone. It's a distortion. And reality reflects that distortion back at you. Not as punishment, not as a failure, as feedback. Everything you see is feedback. Every closed door, every opportunity, every conflict. It's not happening to you. It's being projected from you. So the work isn't to try harder. It's not to wish louder. It's to refine your signal, to clean the static, to align your identity, to emit coherence from the inside out. Because once you do that, the field can't help but respond. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because energy obeys clarity. You are a projector, and your life is the screen. Every person you meet, every pattern that repeats, it's all coming from you. Not to blame, not in guilt, but in power. That means you are never truly a victim. You are a transmitter, and now that you know that, you can change the frequency. Not someday, not after more healing. Now. How? By choosing to become what you seek, not to chase love, but to emit it, not to crave peace, but to be it, not to beg for purpose, but to live like someone who already knows they matter. Because you do. And your field remembers, even when your mind forgets. You are not here to attract what you want. You are here to project what you already are. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the mask. You don't need to become powerful. You only need to stop hiding your power behind false stories. This is your truth. You are the field. You are the signal. You are the cause. And reality is just the effect. If you want to change the world around you, you don't have to change others. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to wait for permission. You just have to emit something new. Hold it. Sustain it. Even when the old reality still shows up, especially then, because the new projection doesn't land instantly. It takes repetition, not of thought, but of energy, of presence, of frequency. The more consistently you hold a new vibration, the more the field adapts. And suddenly, the people around you shift. Opportunities appear, obstacles dissolve. Not because life got better, but because you did. Your projection changed, so your reflection had to. That's how powerful you are, that's how simple it is. You don't attract, you project. Say it again, I don't attract, I project. Then say this, I am ready to broadcast something new. Let that be your mantra today. Not just in words, in state, in breath, in silence, you're already sending a signal. The only question is, what are you projecting? Let's refine the frequency. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. Your thoughts are seeds. So let's go even deeper, because thought is not the beginning, it never was. Before thought, there is attention, and before attention, there is identity. You become what you believe you are, not because belief is magic, but because belief determines where your gaze lands, what you focus on, what you nurture. If you believe you are broken, your attention will scan the world for cracks. It will find shadows. It will replay every doubt as confirmation. But if you believe you are whole, your attention starts to look for harmony. It spots alignment. It feeds the beauty already inside you. Identity chooses the garden. Attention waters it. Thoughts are what grow. This is why healing has never been about fixing. It's always been about remembering. You are not a project. You are a soul who has forgotten its light. And the moment you remember, truly, deeply remember, the seeds of fear and lack start to lose their soil. Because those seeds, they can't grow where there is truth. They wither in clarity. They can't root in light. And yet, most people try to plant abundance in the mud of unworthiness, try to call in peace while their soil screams with anxiety, try to attract love while their roots whisper, "I am not lovable." And then they wonder why the garden stays empty. It's not the seed, it's the soil. So let's talk about your soil, the invisible layer of your being, the emotional ground you walk on, the beliefs you inherited and never questioned, the silent agreements you made with fear when no one was watching. If you carry the belief, life is a struggle, then even your most beautiful thoughts must wrestle with resistance to take root. But if you tend to the soil, if you clear the debris, rewrite the code, and choose the new agreement, life supports me, I am held, I am safe. Then even the smallest seed of peace can take root and flourish. You don't need louder thoughts. You don't need more affirmations. You don't need to scream your intentions into the void. You need safer soil. You need to love the earth inside you. Soil becomes safe when you treat your mind as sacred, not as a machine to optimize, not as a battlefield to win, but as a temple, a space worthy of reverence. What if your mind isn't broken? What if it's just overgrown with weeds no one ever taught you to clear? Weeds that came from pain, from fear, from stories passed down like heirlooms. This is your permission to start weeding, to pause and say, "This thought is not mine. This fear is inherited, not chosen. This story ends here. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky that holds them. You are the field that chooses which ones stay. And yes, you get to choose. Start simple, start small. One thought, one truth, one seed. Maybe it's, I am worthy. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to feel joy without fear. Don't worry if the thought feels unfamiliar. That's a sign it's new, a sign it needs tending. So visit it. Daily, gently. Especially on the days you forget. You'll be tempted to doubt. You'll want to check the soil too soon. To ask, is it working? To dig up the seed with your worry. But don't. Trust. Because the most sacred growth happens underground, in the dark, in silence, where no one claps, where no one sees. The seed knows what to do. It's coded for bloom. It just needs your patience, your attention, your presence. Say this aloud. I am choosing my thoughts with intention. I am creating with every breath. I am the gardener of my life. Let this be your morning mantra, your evening ritual, your inner truth. And don't just say it when you're hurting. Say it when things go right. Celebrate your sprouts. Honor your small blooms. Water them with gratitude, because gratitude is a seed too, and the more you plant it, the more it multiplies. What you water grows. So water thoughts of joy. Water thoughts of expansion. Water the gentle truths that call you home. I am not here to survive. I am here to bloom. This is your garden. This is your soil. And you are the one who gets to decide what grows next. Chapter 3. The Power of Naming. There is power in names, not just the ones we say, but the ones we believe. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you call yourself, because naming is not a label, it is a vibrational decree. In ancient times, to name something was to summon its essence. To speak its true name was to bind it, anchor it, make it real. This wasn't superstition, it was vibrational truth. The name is not just a word, it is an alignment. It is a frequency encoded into sound. And when it comes to your life, the most important name of all is the one you whisper to yourself when no one else is around. Because that name, that identity, becomes your field. It becomes the signature energy that the universe reflects. When you say, I am tired, I am broken, I am unlucky, you are not just venting, you are casting. You are tuning your signal to the limitation. You are unconsciously instructing the field, this is what to echo. But here's the deeper truth. You are not those things. You are not your exhaustion. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are what you choose to name yourself today. Every day you wake up, the universe asks you one question. Who are you? And every thought you think, every belief you hold, every word you speak, that's your answer. And the field listens, not with ears, but with vibration. So when you keep saying, I'm just anxious, I always mess this up, I can't handle more. The universe doesn't judge you, it reflects you. It says, as you wish, and sends situations that reinforce the identity you've declared. But here's the magic. You can change your name, at any time, at any moment. You can rename your identity. You can rename your experience. This is not about faking. It's not about pretending to be happy or powerful or confident. It's about choosing words that are true enough to stretch you. Maybe you're not yet peaceful, but you can say, I am remembering peace. Maybe you still feel fear, but you can say, I am becoming more fearless. Maybe you don't feel powerful, but you can still declare, I am learning to live from my center. The name doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be intentional, because language shapes vibration, and vibration shapes reality. Every name you speak is a seed. Every declaration is an invitation. And when that invitation is held long enough, the field answers. We've been trained to use words carelessly, to say things like, I'm dying of stress, I'm such a mess, I'm bad at this, without realizing that every one of those phrases is a script, and scripts become stories, and stories become identities, and identities create frequency. But what happens when you say, I am growing, I am healing, I am remembering? Your story shifts, your signal sharpens, your life begins to match the new script. Because everything is language. Even the silent names we carry in our breath, the ones passed down, the ones absorbed from childhood, the ones never questioned, names like the responsible one, the failure, the anxious one, the one who never gets it right. You didn't choose those names, but you've been living as if they are true, and now you are invited to release them, to retire the names that never belong to you, to stop echoing what others projected. You get to start fresh. You get to speak a new name in your field. But to do that, you must slow down. You must listen to the names you speak without thought, to the labels you wear without consent. Pay attention to how you describe yourself, even in jest, even sarcastically, because the universe doesn't speak sarcasm. It speaks vibration. It feels like what's underneath your words, so say it with intention. I am clarity. I am enough. I am free. Even if part of you doubts it, especially if part of you doubts it, because repetition reprograms reality, and language leads energy. You don't need anyone to agree. You don't need validation. You just need coherence between your name and your energy. That is what creates power, and when you choose to name yourself from your soul, not your fear, not your pain, everything begins to change. Say this, I name myself with love. I name myself in alignment with my truth. I name myself as a creator, not a victim. I name myself as light. I name myself as safe. Repeat it until the old names lose their power, until your body starts to believe it, until your vibration changes, how you walk through the world. Because the field is always listening. Not for your wishes, but for your identity. So today, I invite you. Choose a new name. Write it. Say it. Live it. Let it ring through your cells like a song. Not because it's trendy, because it's true. Your past does not define you. Your pain does not name you. Your potential is not a fantasy. It is simply waiting for a name to respond to. The moment you declare, I am this now, you send a new frequency into the field, and reality shifts. Because you don't get what you want. You get what you call yourself. So, what name are you choosing today? Chapter 4. The body is a temple of resonance. You are not just energy. You are energy made flesh. Your body is not a machine. It is not just biology. It is a temple, a sacred, vibrating sanctuary where every frequency you hold is stored, echoed, and transmitted. Most people live disconnected from the temple. They live in the mind, in thoughts, in loops. But the body never lies. The body remembers. It stores every fear you didn't process, every truth you swallowed, every desire you suppressed. You think you've moved on, but your body keeps the vibration. It becomes tense. It becomes painful. It becomes illness, fatigue, anxiety, not as punishment, but as a message. The body is not betraying you. It is speaking to you. It's saying, this emotion was too big. This truth wasn't safe to express. This part of you has not been felt. And when you ignore the body, when you numb it, when you override it, you silence your most honest guide, because your body is your instrument, and your current life is the sound it's playing. So if your body is tight, heavy, exhausted, don't just fix it. Feel into it. Ask it, what emotion lives here? What part of me is holding this tension? What truth have I refused to let vibrate? You'll be surprised by the answers. The body doesn't need complex language. It needs presence, attention, listening. And when you listen, really listen, you begin to unlock your own resonance. You are not here to live disembodied. You are not just a mind creating reality. You are a full-spectrum being, mind, field, and form, and your vibration must pass through your nervous system to become real. This is where most manifestation teachings fall short. They teach you to think positively, to visualize, to affirm, but they forget the body. They forget that the nervous system must feel safe before it allows the new frequency in. If your body is bracing for disappointment, you will sabotage your miracles, not because you're weak, but because your system is wired for survival, not joy. So you must retrain your body to feel safe in joy, safe in peace, safe in receiving. That begins with breath, with stillness, moving slowly and gently into the parts of your body you abandoned when life got too loud. Touch your chest. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the vibration there. That is not just your heartbeat. That is your signal. That is your truth, pulsing beneath the noise. Say to it, you are safe now. You can relax. You are allowed to feel everything. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly soften. Let your jaw unclench. This is not weakness. This is access. Because the softer you become, the more clearly you can resonate. Your body is a tuning fork, and every thought you have, every emotion you feel, changes the sound it emits. When you live in fear, your body tightens. When you live in love, your body opens, and the world around you responds to that posture. People feel you before they hear you. Rooms shift based on the energy you carry in your bones. So ask yourself, what song is my body singing today? Is it a song of trust, of power, or of hiding, holding, hurting? You get to change the song. Not by force, but by feeling, by breathing, by moving the energy instead of burying it. Let yourself dance. Let yourself cry. Let yourself vibrate truthfully. There is no spiritual awakening without embodiment. There is no higher self that floats above your pain. There is only integration, the holy act of letting light live in your cells, not just in your thoughts. So, from this day forward, honor your temple. Care for your vessel. Not just to be healthy, but to be clear, to be coherent. Because when your body is in alignment, your manifestation power multiplies. The field trusts clarity, and the clearest signal comes from a being who lives in peace with their body. So stretch, move, touch, breathe, listen. Your body is not a cage, it is a cathedral. And when you treat it like one, life starts to echo your truth with precision. This is your invitation. Not to escape the body, but to come home to it, to feel the miracle of being fully here, fully alive, fully resonant. Because the more you embody your vibration, the more the world starts to move in harmony with you. And you are here to create symphonies, not just with thought, but with every step, every breath, every beat of your being. Chapter 5. Visualization without hunger. Most people visualize from emptiness, from a place of longing so deep it aches, from the hollow space inside that whispers, "I need this to feel okay." They close their eyes, not in peace but in pleading, not in trust but in tension, and so they imagine while holding their breath. Their chest tightens, their jaw locks, their body braces, as if to protect against disappointment. And that's the energy the universe hears, not the image, not the dream, but the fear underneath, the doubt wrapped around it, the silent scream, "What if I never get this?" But visualization is not begging. It is not fantasizing from a lack. It is not casting wishes into the sky like fragile paper boats. True visualization is a form of remembrance. You are not meant to imagine your desires like they're distant stars. You are meant to remember them, as if they've already happened, as if they are inevitable, as if they are encoded in your bones, not because you're trying to trick the universe, but because vibration doesn't speak in hope, it speaks in knowing. There's a vast difference between the energy of "I hope I get it" and the resonance of "it's already mine." The first comes from the ache of not yet. The second comes from the calm of alignment. Most people try to project from that ache. They close their eyes and picture the house, the lover, the life. But beneath the surface, their body is screaming with the message, "This isn't real. This isn't mine. This is too far away." And so they reinforce the very gap they want to close. They make the desire bigger than themselves. They make the future louder than the now. But manifestation doesn't work that way. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And you are whatever frequency you consistently hold, in your body, in your breath, in your being. When you visualize from hunger, you emit scarcity. You vibrate with the ache of not enough. And that ache becomes the blueprint reality that reflects back to you. The solution isn't to stop visualizing. It's to visualize differently, from a new place, from wholeness. To visualize not as the seeker, but as the one who remembers. Because your desires are not fantasies, they are memories of a reality your soul already knows, a vibration you've already held. You are not creating them, you are reconnecting with them. So when you sit in silence, when you close your eyes, don't do it to escape. Do it to return. Return to the version of you who already feels safe, already feels loved, already feels aligned. Feel the moment. Let it rise in your body before your mind tries to take over. What does your breath feel like when you already have it? How does your face soften when it's already true? How do you stand? How do you walk into a room when you know you are already there? Let your visualization be a reunion, not a request. A homecoming, not a hope. Don't rush the images. Let them find you gently. Let them shimmer into view like a memory surfacing. Let them come not because you are forcing, but because you are finally quiet enough to receive. Stay there, not in strain, but in sacred stillness. Let the energy marinate. Let it coat your field like golden light. Let it change your posture, your pulse, your presence. The goal is not to get what you want. The goal is to become the version of you who no longer doubts it's already yours. And the more you sit with that version, the more you rehearse that vibration, the more real it becomes. Not because reality suddenly bends, but because you do. You stop broadcasting confusion. You stop emitting mixed signals. You stop vibrating with fear and start resonating with clarity. This is not just imagination. This is somatic training. This is a vibrational discipline. This is how you rewire your field. And your body, your nervous system, it is the final portal. Your brain doesn't know the difference between memory and imagination. So when you visualize with full presence, full emotion, full breath, your body begins to believe it's safe to have it, to hold it, to sustain it. That's the real reason manifestation works. Not because you made a vision board, but because you made a new home inside yourself. One that could actually receive what you asked for. One that doesn't sabotage it the moment it shows up. One who doesn't panic in the presence of peace. So sit, breathe. Visualize not to get, but to remember, to recalibrate, to reconnect. You are not pretending. You are not faking. You are remembering your future and practicing it in the present. And the more you practice it, the more real it becomes. Not because the world changed, but because your signal finally matched the dream. That's how it comes. That's how it flows. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. And the moment you stop visualizing with hunger, the field stops responding to your emptiness. It starts responding to your certainty, your softness, your stillness, your knowing. Let that be the way you visualize now, with reverence, with grace, with the gentle power of someone who already knows it's done. Chapter 6. Doubt is inverted magic. Doubt is not just hesitation. It's not just uncertainty. It is inverted magic. Because just like belief creates, doubt destroys. It unravels the signal. It scrambles the frequency. It poisons the projection. You've been told that faith moves mountains, but no one told you that doubt builds them. Every time you doubt, you're casting a spell in reverse. You are summoning resistance. You are experiencing a delay. You are anchoring the vibration of, "This can't happen for me." And the universe, in its perfect neutrality, replies, "As you wish." Most people don't realize how powerful they are, not just in their dreams, but in their disbelief. Every time you speak against your own vision, every time you entertain worst-case scenarios, every time you say, "I don't know if this is possible," you are feeding the opposite of your desire. You are giving energy to the version of you who never receives. You are watering weeds, you are feeding shadows. And then you wonder why things don't change. But it's not because the field isn't responding, it's because the field is responding to the loudest vibration you're emitting, to the thought you repeat in secret, to the voice inside that whispers, "This might not be for me." Doubt is not neutral, it's active. It has a pulse, a frequency, a gravitational pull, and the more you allow it to live in your field, the more real it becomes. Not because it's true, but because it's repetition. The field doesn't reward truth. It reflects consistency. So if doubt is what you practice, then confusion becomes your normal. But this is not to shame you, it's to awaken you, to show you just how creative you already are, that you've been casting spells every day, with every word, every thought, every silent agreement with limitations. The mind says, "I'm being realistic." The field says, "You're choosing that timeline." And once you understand that, you take your power back. Because if you can create chaos with doubt, imagine what you can create with certainty. Certainty is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's not loud or performative, it's calm, it's quiet. It's grounded in something deeper than logic. It's the version of you who walks into the unknown, not with control, but with clarity. Who says, "I may not see how, but I know this is mine." That's the voice that reprograms the field. That's the vibration that turns visions into form. But it only works when it becomes your default, not your emergency backup. Because you can't affirm one thing and doubt it 90% of the time and expect coherence. You can't pray for alignment while carrying the frequency of confusion. That's not faith, that's friction, and friction makes the signal fuzzy. So today, make a vow to become ruthless with your doubt, not cruel, but clear, to stop indulging the narratives that shrink you, to stop worshipping logic over intuition, to stop using your energy to build what you don't want. Because that's all the doubt is, misused creative power. You've never been powerless. You've just been powerful in the wrong direction. So catch the doubt when it rises, not with fear, but with awareness. Say to it, "I see you. I know why you're here. You're trying to protect me from disappointment, but I don't need that anymore." Then redirect, not with force, but with softness, because the opposite of doubt is not certainty, it's trust. And trust is a frequency. It's a vibration of being held, even when the path is unclear. When you trust the field, you stop checking the clock. You stop asking, "Where is it?" You start saying, "I know it's near, I know it's moving, and I am moving with it." This is the work, to become a frequency match for the life that is already echoing back toward you. To replace doubt with devotion, not blind hope, but sacred calibration. To stop giving your magic to the version of you who's afraid and give it to the one who remembers, the one who has already arrived, the one who doesn't question if, but breathes in the truth of when. That is your power, and that is your invitation. Use your magic well, because it's always working. The only question is, in what direction? Chapter 7. Emotion is the command. Thoughts are not the creators, they are the messengers, but emotion is the command. Your feelings are not side effects, they are not noise, they are not distractions on the path, they are the path. They are the voltage behind every intention, the amplifier is behind every signal. What do you feel most consistently becomes the blueprint of your field, not what you say you want, not what you write in a journal once a week, but what you feel, in your body, in your bones, in your breath. That's the true vibration. That's what the universe reads. Most people don't manifest what they want. They manifest what they feel safe holding. And the truth is, most people are addicted to emotions that contradict their desires. They say they want peace, but their body is wired for urgency. They say they want love, but their nervous system expects abandonment. They say they want expansion, but their field is soaked in the fear of visibility. And so the universe responds to the louder signal, not the dream, but the emotion beneath it, because emotion doesn't lie. It is raw. It is real. It bypasses intellect. It speaks the truth your mouth may never say. This is why affirmations often fall flat, why vision boards fade, why intentions evaporate. Because without emotion, they are empty. Without embodiment, they are static. But when your emotion and your vision align, you become a force the universe cannot ignore. Emotion gives depth to your projection. It gives texture to your vibration. It says, "This is not just a thought. This is what I live. This is who I am." Your body is an emotional transmitter. It pulses out the vibration of your dominant feelings all day long, not just in your words, in how you walk, how do you exhale, how do you move through space. So the question becomes, what emotion are you rehearsing? What emotional tone do you keep coming back to, even in silence, even unconsciously? Because that is what you're broadcasting, and that is what the field is mirroring. This doesn't mean you have to feel joy 24/7. That's not real. This isn't about spiritual bypassing. It's about emotional integrity, feeling your truth and choosing which emotions to let lead. You can feel sadness and still lead with love. You can feel fear and still choose courage. But the emotion you inhabit most deeply, that's the one that sets your trajectory. So let yourself feel. Let the tears come. Let the anger rise. Let the ache surface. Don't run. Don't numb. Don't spiritualize it away. Emotion must move. It must breathe. It must complete its cycle. Because when you suppress it, it doesn't disappear. It distorts. It becomes an illness. It becomes resistance. It becomes static in your signal. But when you feel it, fully, openly, honestly, it transforms. It flows. It releases. And when you release what doesn't serve, you create space for emotions that do. Emotions that match your vision. Emotions that align with the life you're calling in. Gratitude, peace, confidence, joy. These are not just positive vibes. They are keys. They are codes. They tell the universe, I am ready. I can hold this. This is who I am now. Emotion is not weakness, it is power in motion. It is the pulse of your magnetism. So feel with intention, not to indulge, but to inform, to realign, to retune your field. Let emotion be your teacher, not your jailer. Let it guide you back to your truth. When emotion flows cleanly, you become clear. You become magnetic. You become sovereign. So stop fearing your feelings. Stop shaming your tears. Stop numbing your heart. Your emotions are sacred messengers. Each one says, this is where your energy lives, this is what you've been carrying. And you get to choose. Not what shows up, but what stays, what lingers, what leads. This is your emotional sovereignty, your ability to feel everything and choose what fuels your future. Say this: I feel what is true. I release what is heavy. I hold what is aligned. Let that be your rhythm, your mantra, your frequency. Because the most powerful version of you is not the one who avoids emotion, but the one who wields it, the one who channels it, the one who knows. Emotion is the command, and I am the one who decides what I'm commanding. Chapter 8. Ordering without praying. You were taught to ask, to kneel, to whisper your desires into the silence and hope they were heard. You were taught that wanting too much made you ungrateful, that asking for more meant you were greedy, that you had to prove your worth before you were allowed to receive. But you are not here to beg for your desires. You are here to order them into form, not like a customer in a restaurant, timidly hoping for the chef's approval, but like a sovereign speaking clearly into the architecture of energy. You were not born to plead, you were born to proclaim. Because the universe does not respond to desperation, it does not respond to begging, it does not reward the loudest voice or the longest prayer. It responds to frequency, to the signal you hold, to the emotion that underlies your words, to the resonance that follows you like a scent, whether you are speaking or silent. When you pray from fear, your field broadcasts lack. When you ask from a place of need, your energy screams absence. And the field, that sacred neutral mirror, reflects exactly that. It's not punishing you, it's not testing you, it's responding to you. So you must learn to speak from a different place, from clarity, from embodiment, from remembrance. Ordering is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the natural language of one who remembers they are already divine. You don't command the universe with your mouth, you command it with your being. You speak not to convince, but to consecrate, to encode your identity into the field. When you say, I receive this, it is not a request, it is a revelation. It is a vibrational stamp saying, this is already real, and now I align my whole self with that reality. But that can't happen if your energy is split, if your words say yes, but your body says no, if your mind says I believe, but your nervous system whispers, I don't trust it. This is why prayer alone doesn't always work, because it's not the words that matter, it's the coherence beneath them. Coherence is when your thought, your emotion, your posture, and your breath, they are all saying the same thing. That is when the field listens. That is when reality bends. You don't need to scream to be heard by the universe. You just need to resonate clearly. Because energy does not follow noise. It follows the truth. So speak from the part of you that doesn't question anymore. Not because you know every step, but because you know who you are. You are not the beggar. You are the embodiment. You are not praying for scraps. You are returning to your inheritance. This is not about being loud. It's about being certain. You're not ordering from a place of entitlement. You're ordering from a place of alignment. When you stand in the center of your being and say, this is mine, the field begins rearranging, not because it's reacting, because it's responding to the clarity of your frequency, to the sound of your soul finally singing one coherent note. So let go of begging. Let go of hoping someone's listening. Let go of the belief that you must prove yourself worthy. You were worthy before you were born. Now your only job it is to remember that. And when you remember, you don't need to ask. You simply speak. You embody. You order. And it is done. But what does ordering feel like? It feels like stillness, like peace in your bones, like knowing you don't have to chase or convince or grasp. It feels like exhaling. It feels like standing tall, not because you need attention, but because you know the throne is already yours. It feels like trust without evidence, like calm before the storm, like smiling before anything has arrived, because you know the arrival is inevitable. And when doubt arises, as it sometimes will, you don't argue with it. You don't panic. You simply return to the order. You say, I've already spoken this into form. There's nothing more to fix. Now I stay aligned. And that's the key. Staying aligned after you've ordered. Not obsessing. Not checking the clock. Not micromanaging the miracle. Because ordering without trust is still fear. And fear distorts the field. So order once, and then become the version of you who expects it, who aligns with it, who lives like it's already done. Not to prove anything, but to match the vibration you've claimed. This is advanced creation. This is energetic elegance. This is spiritual precision. No more shouting into the sky. No more spiritual begging. No more, if it's meant to be. You are not a maybe. You are not a condition. You are not a cosmic question mark. You are a living command, a walking declaration, a breathing vibration of yes. So speak like it, move like it, breathe like it. You are not just allowed to order your desires, you are required to if you want to live aligned. Say it again. Say it until your cells remember, I am not here to ask, I am here to command. I am not here to beg, I am here to embody. I am not waiting for the universe to say yes, the universe is waiting for me to. And so it is. Chapter 9. Identity is the frequency. You can do the affirmations, you can set the intentions, you can visualize and journal and meditate until the sun rises. But if your identity doesn't change, nothing will. Because identity is the frequency. It's the root note your field plays beneath all your words. You are not creating from what you want. You are creating from who you believe you are. And that belief, that silent, constant assumption of self, is the architect of your reality. Everything in your life right now, the love, the chaos, the money, the struggle, the miracles, all of it is shaped by the identity you carry at your core, not the one you posted, not the one you speak when you're trying to stay positive, the one you embody in stillness, the one you hold in your breath when you're alone, the one you slip into without thinking. That is the frequency. That is what the universe listens to. And that is what must evolve if you want your life to transform. Because every intention that doesn't match your identity is rejected by your field, not as punishment, but as a misalignment. If you believe deep down that you're not enough, no affirmation can override that until it becomes a part of you. Until your nervous system says, this is safe, this is true, this is who I am now. This is why change isn't about doing more. It's about becoming different. Not in your essence, that is eternal, but in your energetic posture, in your foundational belief of self. If your identity is still wrapped in victimhood, you will continue creating scenarios where life happens to you. If your identity is grounded in power, you will start shaping life from the inside out. So ask yourself, with ruthless love, who am I being? Really? Not just when I'm inspired, but when I'm disappointed. Not just when things are flowing, but when they're not. Because that version of you, the one you default to, that's the identity creating your current reality. And if you want to shift the outer world, you must first shift the inner answer to the question, who am I? Start there, not with tasks, not with techniques, with the internal frequency of self. Say it, I am a creator. I am magnetic. I am worthy without needing to prove. I am the one who receives with ease. Not because it's trendy, because it's true. Because the version of you who lives that way already exists. You're not inventing her. You're activating her. And when you activate that version, everything else adjusts. People shift, opportunities appear, patterns dissolve. Because reality must respond to the dominant identity in your field. This is not metaphysics. This is energetic law. So if your identity says, I struggle, then abundance becomes elusive. If your identity says, I always get left, then love keeps vanishing. If your identity says, I can't handle success, then your nervous system will reject every win you call in. But if your identity says, I am safe in expansion, I am supported by life, I am a match for miracles, then your field starts building a new reality based on that foundation. And it's not instant, but it is inevitable. Because once your identity becomes coherent, the outside world has no choice but to follow. This is why all true transformation feels internal first. Why do you feel different before anything around you changes? Why it feel calm before it feels exciting? That's how you know it's real, because your nervous system isn't just tolerating the new frequency, it's living in it. So don't just change your actions, Change the one who's acting. Change the identity that's driving the decisions. Because until your identity shifts, you will keep recreating the same loops, no matter how much you learn, no matter how much you want it to be different. This is the power of inner alignment. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it is absolute. It's the shift from effort to embodiment. You don't have to push, you just have to become, and when you become, you don't have to prove anything. Your frequency becomes your proof, your presence becomes your strategy. Say it again. I don't attract what I want. I attract who I am. So, what are you ready to be? Who are you ready to remember? What identity are you ready to finally own? Not because you're broken, but because your soul is calling you into congruence, into clarity, into coherence. Because once your identity is clear, everything else is just logistics. Final thoughts. This is not the end. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Because now you remember. You remember that the power was never outside of you, not in a guru, not in a book, not in a method, but in your breath, your awareness, your willingness to look inward and see clearly. This journey wasn't about becoming something new. It was about uncovering what was always there, beneath the doubt, beneath the programming, beneath the old stories. You were never lost. You were just distant from your own field. But now the gap is closed. Now you feel it. The truth vibrating through your bones. You are the energy. You are the cause. You are the beginning point of all manifestation. And with that, remembering, everything starts to shift. You don't wait for the miracle. You become the space where miracles happen. You don't wait for love. You become the frequency that attracts love effortlessly. You don't chase success, you resonate with it until it must arrive. This is not the end, this is the reintegration, the activation, the return to your field, to your clarity, to your quiet, unwavering center. The you who trusts, the you who allows, the you who no longer abandons yourself for the illusion of safety. That version of you isn't someday. That version of you is now. And your only job from here on out is to live as her, to think like her, to move as her, to feel into the world with the openness of someone who no longer doubts that everything is always working for you. Because it is. Even the detours, even the moments that didn't make sense, even the delays, they weren't punishments. There were pauses designed to help you remember that your true power was never in the external. It was in your vibration. So yes, you will still have moments. You will forget. You will fall back into the loop. You will question. You will feel human. But now you know how to return. And the return gets faster every time. That is mastery. Not never falling. But falling and knowing exactly how to rise as energy. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from memory. And memory is magnetic. So keep going, keep feeling, keep refining, keep remembering. Let your energy speak louder than your doubts. Let your field lead the way before your words ever do. Let your presence be the proof, because when you live like this, the world cannot help but rearrange. You become a living signal, a living mirror, a living command, and everything you desire. It's already on the way, not because you forced it, but because you finally remembered how to receive it. This is not the end. This is the moment you say, I'm ready. I remember. I am. And so it is. It's about noticing when you shift into fear and gently guiding yourself back, not yelling at the fear, not shaming the spiral, just saying, I see you, but I choose something else now. This is the practice, not pushing through, but returning to. Not striving, but aligning. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is take a nap, drink water, turn off your phone, laugh with someone you love. Tell the truth when it's uncomfortable. Your power is not in the ritual, it's in the repetition, the daily decision to return to your center. Even when it's hard, especially then, The version of you who's already living the life you want, that version practices differently. She doesn't wake up and ask if she's worthy. She doesn't scroll through her doubts. She doesn't rehearse fear as a form of preparation. She knows, she anchors, she speaks with less noise and more precision. She walks with presence. She trusts the timing. And every time you return to her, you strengthen the signal. You stabilize the field. You increase the magnetism. This is not overnight work, but it is holy work. It is sacred repetition. It is energetic hygiene. It is how you become undeniable, not to others, to yourself. The moment you stop abandoning yourself is the moment the world stops doing it too. The moment you become the most loyal witness to your truth is the moment the field reorganizes to match it. Because energy doesn't skip steps. It doesn't respond to the parts of you that pretend. It responds to the parts of you that practice with presence. So start small. Start now. Start by breathing deeper, standing taller, saying your truth more clearly. Make your life the practice. Make your energy the prayer. Make your body the altar. Make your breath the ceremony. And let the field show you how powerful you already are when you stop trying and start being.